Okay, we're back. I think that the first video loaded up just fine, so I'm pretty excited about that. I previewed it. Just a reminder for everybody here, again, the test is going to be on Tuesday, and we will be doing a DBQ activity on Monday. Now, that DBQ activity will be a major assessment. That's something I'm going to change. I'm going to change that because I feel that we're not going to have time in February to get a DBQ/FRQ in, so I need to make sure that we somehow practice that DBQ and really take it seriously because it's going to be a big deal moving forward. Alright, we're going to have plenty of practice in March and April on the DBQ. You're going to be doing quite a bit of writing. I know you're so excited about that. I am too. And again, this is all to prepare for the upcoming AP exam in May, and I think you're all going to knock it out of the park, so we want to make sure that we're ready to go. Alright? Okay, back on to the Unit 10 review. The open door policy is the next term that I want you to make sure that you look back and review in your notes. What's going on in China during this time? Review the Boxer Rebellion. What were the intentions of both the Boxer Rebellion and what was the original intention of the open door policy? Why did we have it in America? Understand the background of Teddy Roosevelt's rise in politics. He was obviously the governor of New York, correct? And what happened with him? Why was he nominated as the vice president in 1900? It wasn't just because he was a rock star rough rider. There were some underlying issues with him and his party. Make sure that you review those. Also, be sure to know who the Democrats nominated in 1900 and what was the Democratic stance, what were they trying to get accomplished during the 1900 election. Or I should say the election of 1900. Whatever. Semantics. How would we describe Teddy Roosevelt's personality? You tell me. Whoa, piece of ice just fell off my roof. Okay. Regarding the presidency, Teddy Roosevelt, what did he believe about the executive branch? And again, that executive branch is the presidency, okay, and the people who enforce the laws. This is why next year I'm going to be teaching a class in the summer about government, just to make sure you guys all have a background, because I feel it's kind of tough for you, throwing out terms you're not used to. All right. Understand what was the deal with the Panama Canal. That's a pretty big mouthful right there. And of course, my favorite word in history to date, Panamanian, the Panamanian Revolt. Make sure that you review that. What happened? Why did it happen? And what did the Americans do to help it happen? Or did we help it happen? I don't know. Review it, okay? Also, understand the Roosevelt Corollary, why it was passed. What was the reasoning behind it? It's an extension, again, of the Monroe Doctrine. What was going on in Latin America also? At the turn of the 20th century, when we go from 1800s to 1900s, what's going on in Latin America that's causing all these issues? And why does America feel, or I should say, the United States of America, why do we feel that we have to be involved in Latin America? Teddy Roosevelt got himself a Nobel Peace Prize by helping end a war. Know what that war was. Know what the impact of that war was. Also, there's a gentleman's agreement that we talked about in your book. The gentleman's agreement. Review it. It has to do with somebody in California. Okay. All right, so again, like the first 30 questions that we've gone through so far up to date here, and those first 30 questions are all based off of chapter 27. So that's a big chunk of this 75 question test. So make sure that you review and really study hard on chapter 27. I was gone for part of that. You have a guided discussion. I think you guys have enough information to definitely be successful. And if you need to reread, okay? And of course, if you are just getting this video right now over the weekend and you don't have your textbook with you, you all do have an online textbook that you can utilize, so I would really suggest doing so. All right, moving on to chapter 28 and what you have to know from chapter 28. Understand what the reasoning was behind the progressive movement. What were the efforts? What were the reformers trying to do? What did they say about the role of government in American in people's lives? What did they feel? You're going to be asked about female progressives and what their role was. We did talk about that in class, a little bit of a class discussion. You're also going to have a question about the social gospel. So please make sure to review the social gospel, what it was, and what people who believed in the social gospel said about America, and what would eventually happen if everybody followed their Christian heart. What kind of a country would we be? What kind of government would we have? All right. You guys forced me to lose my spot. Oh, here we are. Muckrakers. What were their goals? Who were they? And of course, when we talk about the progressive era, we have to make sure that we include all the different reformers that were out there. So please make sure to review the different types of reformers that were there. What I mean by that, I'll give you an example, like the temperance movement. That would be an example of a progressive reform. All right. All right. You're going to be asked about the progressive. It's my dog. You're going to be asked about the progressive movement, some of the amendments that were taking place during the time, what they did. Here's another great question for you guys. All the following were prime goals of progressives, except, I can already tell, I can hear the excitement going through the web right now from all of you. Just pumped for those except questions. All right. You're going to be asked about the settlement clubs and what they did. Number one, the settlement houses, and also who were the women that were behind the settlement houses and the women's clubs movements. Muller versus Oregon, excuse me. Interesting case we read about in class. Be sure to review it. There's something that happens with a factory. That's your hint. And there's a portion of your book that talks about it. Something happens. That's all I'm going to say. Be sure to review it. If you've read the book, if you've read chapter 28, you know what I'm talking. It should ring a bell. There's something that's important that happens in a factory, and we'll just say people died. All right. So make sure that you understand the surrounding storyline behind that factory. And of course, Lochner versus New York. Was another Supreme Court case you're going to want to make sure that you review. And I think we're going to stop for right now. This is part 2 of the video. All right, so I'm going to stop recording.